Mr. Schaefer is going to leave at this time, and also I'd like to point out for the record that Mr. Schaefer was not involved in the executive session portion where any discussions took place concerning this appeal.
Okay. Mr. Lawson, I guess you're going to feed this, or Mr. Whitehouse is.
We're at the discussion and possible action related to an appeal on, yes, this agenda item is a discussion and possible action related to an appeal on the Sussex County Planning and Zoning Commission decision to deny subdivision application number 2020-8, known as Lockhaven. As you know, Mr. President, we did hold a appeal hearing back in December related to this matter, and at the conclusion of that hearing, Council decided not to take action, and I believe today there is a possibility of a motion for your consideration related to the appeal by the applicant. Does anyone have a motion that they would like to consider?
I do.
Mr. Vincent, I thought you might.
Yeah, that's part of the whatever. I'm going to just, so you can hear me. Bear with us. This is a long motion, so bear with me, please. This is an appeal of the Planning and Zoning Commission denial of a subdivision application for Lockwood subdivision number 2020-8, filed by Lockwood Farms, LLC. I move that the Council affirm the Commission's denial of the application for the following reasons. The standard review for appeals from Commission decisions does not permit Council to substitute its own opinion for that of the Commission, nor does it permit a rehearing of what was before the Commission. It was a hearing of record, and the Council's review is limited to that record. In reviewing the Commission decision on appeal, Sussex County Code 99-39-2 states, the Council shall review the record of the hearing before the Commission and shall make a determination as to whether the Commission's decision was the result of an orderly and logical review of the evidence and involved a proper interpretation and application of the chapter. The Delaware Supreme Court held that the Commission's consideration of subdivision plan application acts in a manner that is partly in a ministerial and partly a judicial capacity. And therefore, an appeal to the appealing body must determine whether the decision is supported by substantial evidence and is free from legal error. Substantial evidence means such relevant evidence as a reasonable mind might accept as adequate to support a conclusion. The Council review is limited to correcting errors of law and determining whether substantial evidence exists to support the Commission's findings of fact, and that when substantial evidence exists, the Council will not reweigh it or substitute its own judgment for that of the Commission. Therefore, if there is substantial evidence that demonstrates the Commission's decision was based on an orderly and logical review of the evidence and the law was accurately applied, the Council must uphold the Commission's approval. In its December 13, 2021 appeal letter, the appellant states and relies upon the principle that the Delaware Supreme Court has held that people who own land zoned for a specific use are entitled to rely on the fact that they can implement that use, provided the project complies with the subdivision ordinances subject to reasonable conditions imposed by the Planning Commission to minimize impact. Appeal letter, page 1. However, the appellant did not effectively address the mandatory considerations for all subdivision applications that are set forth in Sussex County Code. Sussex County Code sets 99-9C sets forth 17 mandatory factors a Commission must consider in its decision whether to approve or deny a subdivision plan. Of these factors, the record demonstrates the appellant's application and presentation did not provide adequate or current information pertaining to 8 separate categories. Each of these deficiencies were outlined in the Commission's reasons 2 through 9 for denying the application. Though the attorney for the appellee mostly focused on one of the deficiencies during his argument, the review of the record shows many concerns. More specifically, as addressed by the Commission in detail, appellant did not adequately satisfy the following considerations. The applicant does not adequately satisfy Section 99-9C1, which requires the consideration of an integration of the proposed subdivision into the existing terrain and surrounding landscape. The subdivision has extensive wetlands and woodlands, all of which are located within the individual lots. Even the buffer is located within individual lots. There is no protection against future tree clearing or disturbance of the wetlands or the buffer areas by future lot owners. The applicant does not adequately satisfy Section 999C2, which requires the minimal use of wetlands and floodplains. In this case, the wetlands are located solely within the lot lines. In fact, 13 of the 25 lots contain wetlands. This is not the minimal use of wetlands. Although there is a 50-foot wetlands buffer proposed, it is also located within each lot, which offers no guarantee that the buffer or the wetlands will be used or disturbed in the future once homes are built on various lots. The applicant does not adequately satisfy 999C3, which requires the consideration of the preservation of natural and historic features. While there are no known historic features on the site, 13 of the lots contains wetland. The design of the subdivision is counter to the preservation of the natural areas, since the lots are oriented to the perimeter of the site where the wetlands and waterways are located, and not towards the interior of the site that was previously farmed, and no natural features exist. The application does not adequately satisfy Section 99-9C4, which requires a consideration of the preservation of open space and scenic views. The design of the subdivision includes 14.75 acres of open space that is mainly oriented to the center of the site. The design does not preserve scenic views, particularly where the primary scenic view is the man-made lagoon and its view of the Broadkill River beyond it, all of which is located within a single lot, Lot 15, that is not accessible to the other lots within the development. This application does not adequately satisfy Section 99-9C5, which requires a consideration of the minimization of tree, vegetation, and soil removal and grade changes. As already stated, all 38 acres of the existing forest is located within the individual lots. Although the applicant has stated that the forested areas will be preserved, the site plan that was submitted states that the tree line is shown for estimated lot clearing. Actual lot clearing varies. I am not satisfied that tree clearing will be minimized on these lots once homes are designed and built with rear yards, wells, and septic systems. I am not satisfied the applicant has adequately addressed the provision of sewage disposal as required by Section 99-9C8. The applicant is proposing 25 individual septic systems, and I am not satisfied that the soils are adequate based upon the information contained in the record, which includes a 15-year-old soil study from 2006 that reviewed a completely different site plan with 2 cul-de-sacs and a different lot layout. In December of 2015, which is now almost 6 years ago, DENREC indicated that 4 of the lots in that old subdivision design were marginal for on-site wastewater treatment and disposal systems, and that one of the former lots was not feasible for an on-site system at all. The developer has redesigned the subdivision to address the lot with the bad soils, but DENREC has not reviewed the current plan to confirm that each of the lots will have adequate soils for on-site septic systems. This application does not adequately satisfy Section 99-9C11, which requires a consideration of safe vehicular movement within the site and to adjacent ways, in Section 99-9C15, which requires a consideration of the effect of area roadways. The site is located along Round Pole Bridge Road, which is an unlined tar and chip roadway with no shoulders and failing pavement edges. DelDOT has stated that it has no plans for any improvements to this roadway. The proposed entrance to the site is approximately 500 feet with a 9-degree turn on the road, making it difficult to anticipate oncoming traffic. I'm not satisfied these circumstances provide for safe vehicular and pedestrian movement onto adjacent roadways, and the entrance creates an unsafe effect on the already marginal Round Pole Bridge Road. The Commission's findings include detailed, thorough, and well thought out reasons for its unanimous vote to deny the application, including inadequate wetland, scenic view and tree protection, as well as the questionable viability of on-site individual septic systems. Of uttermost importance, as outlined by the Commission in December 13, 2021 letter, the proposed on-site individual septic systems were based on a 15-year-old soil evaluation from 2006 and a 6-year-old review thereof from 2015, both of which were based on a totally different plan that was provided to the Commission with this application and reviewed at the public hearing. In fact, the DENREC review did not reflect the current subdivision plan lot numbers, that even under the old plan, several of the lots would need mound systems, being lots with different locations from the plan that was presented to the Commission. That after repeated contacts to do so, the appellant chose not to connect their sewer, which would have directly addressed this issue, and that appellant acknowledged that the plan contains some bad areas for septic systems. Moreover, the Commission expressed additional concern that the site is located in an environmentally sensitive area that is bound by the Beaver Dam Creek and the Broadkill River and contains 28.7 acres of wetlands. It contains 38.44 acres of woodlands, and pretty much everywhere you see woods has wetlands. This application does not provide adequate assurance that the woodlands, wetlands, and buffer areas will be protected, especially since they're located on lots themselves, which will require on-site individual septic systems. The site plan even states, pre-line is shown for estimated lot clearing, actual lot clearing varies. The foregoing facts demonstrate many deficiencies in the subdivision record presented to the Commission. These facts were collectively confirmed by statements in the record as the public hearing, and as appellee explained in the Commission's December letter, December 13, 2021. There is substantial evidence in the record to deny subdivision plan based solely on appellant's inability to adequately address the concerns raised by 999C8. While the appellant argues that approval is required subject to the imposition of reasonable conditions, imposing conditions based on appellant's wide-ranging deficiencies under Section 99-9C would require the Commission to engage in a complete redesign of the subdivision plan, which is beyond the purview of its responsibilities. The Commission's findings speak for themselves. The Commission's reasons for its unanimous denial of the subdivision plan clearly demonstrate its decision was the result of an orderly and logical review of the evidence, that there was substantial evidence in the record to support its decision, and that it engaged in the proper interpretation and application of the chapter. That's my motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well stated.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Mr. Hudson. Question on the motion? Now we'll take the vote. Mr. Riley.
I can understand the positions on both sides. I've reviewed it thoroughly, but in light of the fact that our standard is whether the Planning and Zoning Commission acted in an orderly and logical and manner in conformance with the law, I have to agree that they did, so I will vote yes.
Mrs. Green.
I'm going to vote yes to uphold the decision of the Planning and Zoning Committee.
Mr. Hudson.
I vote yes to uphold the decision by the Planning and Zoning Commission.
I also vote yes to uphold the decision of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Motion carried.